Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking to you about making stretch bracelets, and I'm going to make some pearl bracelets similar to these. And down here you can see some of my glass beads that I have used, and this one's actually lava beads. A little bit obsessed with the glass beads right now. So I want to talk about pearls, and these are also glass pearls. And I got these from Beebee Crafts, and I bought them last year, and the price has gone up just a little bit. I write the price on things because every once in a while somebody wants to buy something that I've made, and so well, and I have an Etsy shop too, so so I need to know how much I paid for things. So these are nice. I really like these. I've been using them for about a year, and this is my second jar of the 6 millimeter pearls, and this is my first jar of the tinier ones. What are these? 4 millimeters. This jar has 1,000 though, so I've used about 500. So I use pearls. I really like pearls a lot, and so I use them, and I'm going to put these up here so that if you guys want, you can pause and write down what that is, but I'll put it in the notes as well. Okay, so stretch bracelets are really a fun project. They're easy, they're quick, and so let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is some pearls. Okay, you're going to need some elastic, and the pearl holes are a little bit smaller than some of the glass beads, so I use a little bit finer or thinner elastic for these bracelets, and so this is 0.7 elastic. I typically like to use 0.8. It's just a little bit sturdier, and this comes in different thicknesses. You can get it down to 0.5, and I like, for men I do 1.0, and then they even have some larger ones than that, but I find that the elastic isn't very stretchy. So the first thing you want to do with your stretch elastic is you want to pre-stretch it. So that just means you're going to grab a hold of it and you're just literally going to stretch it out. And I usually do about a 12-inch piece. So I'm going to set this aside. I've pre-cut a piece of elastic, and I have it here in my little ruler. I'll talk about this ruler for a second. So I got this from Dollar Tree, and I really like these. These are magnifying rulers. This little piece right here in the center is for magnifying, and what I do is I flip it over and I measure my bracelets. You measure by inches, and so my wrist is a 6-inch wrist, and then I make a 7-inch bracelet, and that's because I like mine a little bit looser, and I like them to be able to kind of move around. And everyone has a kind of a different take on what size bracelet they want, so you will have to play around with that and figure out what size bracelets you like. I would start large and then maybe work down after that. Okay, so over here I have already started, and I've got a few pearls on this elastic already, and I'm using a set of tweezers. Ooh, I was going to look up what these are called. They kind of work in reverse, and these work really nice to just put on the end of your elastic. So that's the end that I'm not working with, and then this is going to be the end that I work with. And there's a lot of different things out there that you can use. I like this, but you can use a binder clip. You can buy little things called bead bugs. There's lots of choices. So again, I will put a list in the description and explain to you, or list out all the things that you will need to start making elastic bracelets. And I have some other tweezers here, and I don't know if I'll need them or not, and I'll show you that as we get going. Okay, so here's my pearls, and I'm just going to take the end of my elastic, and I just keep a little piece there, and I roll the bead to the side, and then I slide the elastic in, and then let the bead fall down. And I'm just going to do the same thing here. Okay. Now, I found that that's a pretty slow process, and so I kind of came up with a little tweezer procedure, and I'm really doing the exact same thing, except for I'm using the tweezers in place of my fingers, and I have just found that it goes faster. So this bead is already rolled to its side, and I can just insert that, and I just kind of let it drop, and you can see that one's giving me a little more trouble. Okay, so I'm just going to set that one to the side for a second. I'm going to find me another one. Okay, and I'm using the second tweezers behind the pearl, kind of pushing that in. That one's not working either. And this is how pearls go. Okay, so maybe the fingers were the best way to do this. Okay, yep. And sometimes that's how it goes. You realize, oh, this is going to work a lot better just with my fingers. And sometimes if it won't go in the one side, I'll go to the other side. Yeah, and that's not going to go through right there. Okay, so here's what I like to do. This is something called a head pin, and I'll put this in the description. And these are for, usually I make earrings with them. So I'm just going to insert that, and I can see there's just a little piece of, I don't know, something in there. Now I'm going to come in with my tweezers, and I'm just going to pull that off. And I bet that goes in there really nicely now. It sure does. And if you wanted to, you could take your head pin and you could go through and check all of the beads before you start stringing. Okay. Or you can do it as you go. It's just totally up to you. Personal preference. What works for you. And that's really the beauty of jewelry making, is you can do it however you want. There's lots of different ways of doing things, but different isn't necessarily wrong. Now there are some wrong ways of doing things for sure, but okay, and this one's being a problem. Okay, so I'm putting that pin through, and I'm not seeing any debris. Oh, there comes a little piece of something. Okay, I'll come back in with my little tweezer. The other thing about these tweezers, these are not the kind of tweezers that I tweeze my eyebrows with. These are much longer, and I think they're easier to hold on to and to work with. Though I do have some of my old eyebrow tweezers that kind of, I don't know, they sometimes, there we go. And this is just the nature of pearls. Glass beads typically are not like this, but pearls have a smaller hole, and I don't know what the theory is. I'm sure someone out there does. And if you do, leave me a comment, because I would love to know why pearls are so much smaller. Okay, this has got a big piece of something. I don't know if that's debris from it being drilled, or what exactly this debris is. Okay. But it's good to have strategies for dealing with this stuff. Okay, so what I do is I'll lay this in here. I don't know if you kind of saw how I did that, so do that again. So I pick up my project that I'm working on, and I lay it inside, and there's a little edge up against there. Okay, so I want a 7-inch bracelet, so I'm over halfway done. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and then come back and show you when this is ready to tie off. Okay, so I have strung this bracelet and I now have 7 inches of pearls on there. So I am going to now tie off this bracelet. And so here's my tweezers, and I'm just going to open those up and take those off. And in fact, let's move this out of our way. Okay, so here is our bracelet that's ready to get tied. Oh gosh, I'm going to drop it if I'm not careful. All right, there we go. Okay, so here is my bracelet. And I'm going to tie this off, and a lot of people like to do what is called a surgeon's knot, and I don't use a surgeon's knot. I think they're too big and too bulky, and it's really hard to hide that knot inside one bead. So I just do what I believe is an overhand knot, and so I just wrap it around my fingers, push it through, and you're going to see that procedure right now. One thing that I do like to have is some sort of tool to pull the elastic through, and this is my favorite tool. This is just a paper piercing tool. I've seen these on Amazon. You can get them, some of them they're for making ceramics, and I got this one years ago from a company called Close to My Heart. I'm sure that costs way more than buying something on Amazon. But I'm going to show you a couple other tools that you can use as well. And over the years I've used different things, and I have found that this is my favorite tool. All right, so to begin with, I hold this in my left hand. I'm right-handed, so this is my non-dominant hand, and I'm holding those beads against my thumb. All right. And I tell my students to make a peace sign, okay, and you're going to wrap the elastic around these 2 fingers, and then you're going to push it or pull it through the center. All right, so here I've got my string. Here's my 2 fingers. Okay, I'm going to wrap that, and you got to hold your thumb. Okay, so you've got those 3 fingers, and I'm going to wrap it around those fingers. Okay, and I've done this for a number of years, and so my ring finger is pretty cooperative, and I don't know if your ring finger will do this, but here we go. Okay, so then I hold the loose ends against my finger with my ring finger. Okay, that frees up my dominant hand. I get my tool and I go under those first 2. Where they go? I go under those first 2 and over the second, and then I pull that through. Okay, and I didn't do that very good. All right, try it again. Okay, so I'm going to go under and over, and then I push that through. Okay, did you see that? Hopefully you did. All right, so here's my extra elastic. Okay, and then I stick my little tool back in there, and I kind of hold it. Sometimes I hold it this way, and sometimes I hold it this way. It doesn't really matter. All right, now I'm going to drop it. All right. So I stick my little tool back in there, hold those ends whatever way you want, okay, and you need to pull your fingers out. Now this metal piece is kind of slippery, okay, and it allows me to tighten that elastic down, okay, and if I need to, I can also pull it out. There it goes, and it will loosen. Okay, so having that flexibility is really nice, and I find that this little metal is the best thing to use. Now, if you want to use something from around your house, I'm going to show you a couple of other options. Okay, this is a darning needle. I believe that's the name. I'll Google that before I post it in the notes. It's about 2.5 inches, I think. 2 3/4 it looks like. Okay. I would use it the same way. So I'm going to wrap that around. I'm going to hold it with my ring finger. I'm going to go under and over, under and over. I'm trying to hold that so you can see it. There we go. And pull those little pieces through. Okay. And there they are. Now put your tool back in. Okay. And then you're going to pull your fingers out. Okay. And again, when you've got some kind of metal, it really slips easily. You can easily manipulate this knot, and you can move it anywhere along this elastic. Okay, so now if I pull that out, it's going to be tight. So I want to show you a couple other options. If you have a crochet hook, this is a super tiny crochet hook. It's a 1.35 millimeter, and that works too. Okay, and you can do it this way. So you just under that same under over, and then you grab it with the crochet hook, pull it through. Okay, I would use the other end now. Okay, and again, you can slide that knot wherever you want it to be. And I'm going to slide it out. Okay, here's a broken paintbrush. I took the little paintbrush part off, and it works exactly the same way. So around, hold it, go under the first two, over, pull that through. Okay, put your tool back in. Okay, and that'll slide wherever you want it to go. Makeup brush. Okay, same thing. Wrap it around. Okay, you're going to go under and over and pull those ends through. This is a little bigger around, so. Okay. Same thing though. You're going to be able to kind of slide that down. Now you can see you're going to get a fatter knot. Is where if you have something smaller, then obviously you're going to be able to get a smaller knot. And that's why I like the piercing tool, because I can get a smaller knot. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and make this knot. I'm going to pull that down tight. Okay, I'm going to slip that out. And there's my knot. Let's see, right there. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of look at that. That looks pretty good. And this elastic will kind of, it's pretty tight already. So I'm just going to make sure I've got it all the way tight. Then I'm going to pull it. Okay, make sure I've got a really tight knot and I've got it small enough. Okay, I'm going to try that on. Yeah, it's a little loose. Wonder if I could get that tighter. Yeah, I probably can't. All right, that's fine. It'll be a loose bracelet. All right, so now I'm going to just trim off those ends, throw those away. And now I've got this little knot. And let's see if we can get the light to hit that. You can see there's a little bit of the end sticking out. Okay, and I want that inside a pearl. So I'm going to pull that. And I don't want to break the string, so that's what I'm kind of being careful. And I might need to trim that just a little bit. All right, trim that off just a little bit more. All right, let's try one more time, see if we can get that to slip in there. I've tied a couple of these in the last little while and I got them to slip. Oh, it's hurting my fingers. It is not slipping in there. The knot is not moving. And I'll usually try a couple of different beads around it. It's hurting my fingers, in fact. Oh, I broke it. Okay, well that was too tight. So now I'm going to have to string this again. So I'm going to go restring this and we'll be back. All right, I am now ready to tie this off, and I'm just going to wrap that around. Put my tool back in there, slide that down. Okay, I'm going to take that out, separate my string. There we go. All right, that's tightened up. Okay, that feels good. And pull that knot tight. I want the smallest knot that I can possibly get. Trim those ends off. And let's see if we can slide our knot in. Oh, okay, I don't know if you saw that, but it slid to the other side. So now I know it will go in there. It's just a matter of finesse. You don't want to pull so tight that it comes out the other side, but tight enough that it goes in. Oh, come on. I just had it. Come on, come on. Oh my goodness. I feel like such a liar right now with these beads. All right, let's see if we can get it in this the next one. Come on. Oh, I don't want to break it again. All right, I cannot get it in and my fingers hurt. So I'm just going to leave it. I do cut it short. I was going to see if I could shorten that up just a little bit more. It's pretty short already. Okay, and then that way it doesn't show. And that one doesn't seem to be, sometimes they're kind of deformed where the knot is. It is a little bit, but you can see it's not the worst thing ever. Okay, let's see. I have some different kinds of pearls. Okay, so oh, that's way too many bracelets. But if you wanted to do the 3, a little one, and 2 of the larger ones, or you could do, I sometimes like to do it this way, like that. Okay, and then it looks like it's a big wide bracelet, but really it's not. It's all these little ones, and while you're wearing it, they kind of all squish together. So I try to not wear more than 5 bracelets, but if you wanted to go big, look at that. All right, so there you go. There's some stretch bracelets for you. And I hope you learned something, and remember to like and follow and share, and I'll make a description. Thanks.